I'm Bea.
And I'm Sam.
And we're two best friends who like to talk shit about smut, wingspan,
And sometimes books.
Join us every Wednesday for a new episode.
We are live.
I hope he doesn't cut that.
I know, that was beautiful.
Because it does often on our noise gate.
Yeah.
We're going to have to think. I feel like at this point now we've been doing this long enough that we're going to have to think of like a name for you guys.
Ooh.
Like what do we call, like, because you know, like Bookish Realms,
Yeah.
they're like, welcome back, assassins, and I love it.
Oh.
We need to come up with something.
We could host a competition where our listeners choose.
Choose.
Yeah.
Oh my god, what could we be? What could you be called though? I don't know.
I know. I've got nothing.
I had a really funny one earlier in my brain. I was like, can't wait to say this tonight. Nothing.
Okay.
Anyway,
Thanks for coming.
well, tepid takes.
Oh, because last week, what did we say about tepid? What was I saying?
We said it recently and we were like, hot take.
Oh, yeah,
like,
you,
hot take.
it was last week.
Like,
you said, oh, I haven't really got any hot takes. And I said, oh, tepid take.
we should start making that a thing, our tepid takes.
Yeah.
I love that. Thought we should we should trademark it.
Okay, our tepid takes.
Tepid takes.
I think for season 2, we need a cunt counter.
We absolutely do need a cunt counter and a cunt jar.
Yeah, I think it'd be hilarious.
Yeah. But maybe we do that. Do you guys want that? Do you want a little comp to like win something and you guys pick your name?
Yeah.
Like, or yeah. Because like our Patreon tiers are called Wingspan Aficionado, but I feel like it needs to be something shorter, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's starting every episode like, hi, Wingspan Aficionados.
Like
smutters. Frontiers. Smuttiers. I'm trying to think what LJ Andrews calls her readers little darling.
Wicked darlings.
Wicked darlings.
Yeah, I know.
Love that.
Like Sarah J. I think they call it masochists.
Ooh.
I know, obsessed with that. But like, it's got to be something to do with smut or wingspan. But like,
we'll hand it over to you guys.
Yeah, we'll have a think.
You listeners, and you can choose it.
Anyway, what's new? What's happening? Got any tepid takes?
No tepid takes for a second, I don't think. But we do have, if you're listening to this on the day it comes out, so Wednesday the 12th, our Pride and Prejudice giveaway ends in 2 days.
Ooh.
You've got 2 days to enter if you have, and it's live on TikTok and Instagram.
Yeah. You
will win the Bloom Stories Pride and Prejudice, which has extended smut scenes as written by Bloom Stories. So if you want to enter, you've got 2 days left. It closes on Valentine's Day.
Can't buy it, and it's got like spicy overlays. So if you're a big fan of Pride and Prejudice and always thought, I just wish I saw Mr. Darcy Ray Elizabeth Bennet, then go ahead and enter. But yeah, there's one on TikTok, one on Instagram, so 2 winners.
Yeah,
one on each.
Yes. So you've got 2 days. If you're listening to this on the day it releases, you've got until Friday. And if you're listening to this at a later date, sorry, it's over.
Yeah. What else have we got? Any news? What's happening? That Daniel Jensen's releasing a US covers over here for Bridge Kingdom.
I know, but you can already get them over here.
Yeah, but they're just not the
okay.
only if you have them shipped over. But she's announced that the UK covers are now going to be replaced as well.
Uh-oh.
Can't wait for that. And it's just in time for when the 5th book comes out, so we can get them all as a...
Oh, that didn't pick up anything. I was screaming then. My mic didn't pick it up, sorry.
We can get them as a job lot.
Stunning.
What's been new since last week?
I finished 2 books since we last sat down.
I know, you've been I was going to say a mission. You've been on a mission, you've been a machine.
A mission machine, yes, I have.
Yeah.
Yes, I finished One Dark Window.
Ooh.
Which is, I think, fantastic. I've heard really mixed reviews.
I've only heard good reviews about it.
Now that I'm on that side of Book Talk,
Yeah.
because I'm looking for people's reviews on it. I'm seeing mixed reviews, but I loved it personally. And I've started to Twisted Crowns.
Yeah.
I'm over halfway. I think it's fantastic. And I finished book 4, obviously, because we're here to talk about it. And I started The Memory Puller, which is our next series that we're doing on the podcast. Because we just don't stop. We never stop giving.
Well, we are for a bit because we're having a little breaky wakey.
We're having a 52-week holiday, yeah.
I wish it was a 52-week holiday.
A holiday to celebrate 52 weeks.
We're having a little 2-week break.
Yeah. It's not even that long, though, for the listeners. It's not that long for us because we have to start recording, ready to release again. So we get 10 days off.
Well, it's something.
And we've got full-time jobs, so it's not a holiday at all.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm reading The Memory Puller and I'm reading 2 Twisted Crowns.
Oh, I'm just so excited for you to read The Memory Puller. I'm so excited to record these episodes.
I think I'm 40-something%. Because last night I was really tired. So I left Steve downstairs and I was like, I'm just going to read a chapter in bed and go to sleep. But that one chapter in bed turned to 10 chapters in bed. And I was like, one eye open. Yeah.
I'm saying this now. Maybe I can cut this into our end of 2025 reads of the year.
Yeah.
I can say with confidence that one of the Memory Puller books will be on my top reads of the year.
Ooh.
So far, it's the novelella, but it's not really a novella. Novelella, but it's not a novella. Book 2.5, The Butcher and the Ballerina, for me right now. But obviously, we're still pending book 3 that's coming out end of March. And Chris did say this is a 4-book series. And likely, I think we'll get a 4th book this year.
Yeah.
But I feel like for this year, providing it's not book 3, I'm telling you now, Butcher and Ballerina is on my top 7 already. Whoa. Outstanding. Absolutely top-notch, top-tier series.
That's big and bold.
I'm a big and bold gal,
Do I have anything yet that I think is a contender? I read 12
Onyx
books.
Storm?
It was good. I don't think it's top 7 worthy. It wasn't a 5-star. I feel like everything last year that I put into my top 7 were 5-star reads.
Yeah.
One of LJ's books, I know I gave at least one of the Broken Kingdoms a 5-star, but I can't remember if it was one of the December ones or January ones. So
when you read it.
Could be one of LJ's Broken Kingdoms. What else have I read?
I feel like, though, we can include things that came after the last time we did it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I think that's all.
Yeah, you've got no reading updates.
No, because I'm reading this. What we're talking about today.
You haven't read nothing now.
I'm reading nothing now until.
Are you going to plan to read anything now? Or are you genuinely not reading? No, I genuinely am
not reading now. And because I've read Memory Puller for the podcast.
Yeah.
No, I'm not reading anything now until draft 1 is in.
Whoa. The next time you start reading, I'll be reading your book.
Makes me feel a bit sick, to be honest. I've been in a really poo-poo, it's Monday today, but last week I was in such a poo-poo week. No, I was. It was awful.
It was a poo-poo week.
Do you know what didn't help as well? We've said this on last week's episode, but we've been going live most evenings to write and read. I actually find that's really good for my mindset because I'm in a positive environment when I'm on live with you.
Yeah.
Or I'm on live with other people that are actually rooting me on. But when it's just me rotting in my little hole, I'm just I fucking hate this. I'm going to delete it all. I'm literally with my side pattern, hello there, the angel from my nightmare. Yeah, that's me.
So last week, obviously, Bea didn't write on Monday evening because she was here with me recording. And then Tuesday evening, we went live. And it was just a bit chaotic in the beginning. We finally got onto a sprint and Callie Hart joined the live.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
And I was just watching the screen and I was like, sorry Bea, I know you're writing, but Callie Hart's just joined. So Bea shot off mute.
Threw a laptop across
and then we sat, I talked for 45 minutes and then I was like, should we do another sprint? Or because
I got nothing done.
And everything just went chaos then, didn't it?
Yeah, I did. It did go to poo-poo.
Yeah.
It pretty much going live Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays within reason, Friday nothing comes up. I wasn't well Thursday.
Yeah, and on the weekends, I don't do much, to be honest.
If I'm here,
yeah, I know, you visit family and stuff. Yeah. Oh yeah, if there's, I don't do a lot on the weekends. I'm trying not to drink at the moment.
I was, and then my toddler stopped sleeping.
So I turned to drink.
Literally, the other night, I was like, I had a bottle there. I must have been, I don't know why it was there, of red wine. I was like, I'll just have a glass. And then it was like 10 p.m. and I was like, oh, it's all gone.
Corey, I'm drinking this.
He was asleep. He been asleep since 8 o'clock on the sofa. It was only me. I was like, oh.
You writing at the time?
No, I think it was a Friday or a Saturday.
I was going to say.
Friday, yeah, no.
Fuck knows what you wrote.
When it comes to my spicy scenes, though, I'm gonna have to have a drink just to get in the mood.
Anything else we need to talk about?
I feel like I had so much stuff in my head, and I get here and I'm like, it's like the lights are like an alien like invasion, and my brain just goes like.
Not today.
I was actually listening to us on my way over. I never do that, but
which one? Oh,
Patreon. It was just because it just came up on my phone. I don't know why, and. Yeah, we're quite funny, actually.
We are quite funny.
We have our moments.
I was editing the first episode of this the other day. I was sitting on the sofa. Steve was watching football or whatever, and I was editing, and I'm pissing myself laughing, and I could just feel his eyes on me, you know, like judging. Like, you're listening to yourself. Why are you laughing so much? But I think it's when you say like, so Albert decides they're fake dating. We're fake dating now. But just the way that it comes across, it's just so funny.
I was laughing.
And then we're talking about him shagging Reaver, and I'm like, guess we're not fake dating anymore. It's just really funny.
Yeah, love it. Is that everything?
I think so. Yeah, we're hilarious. We need a name for our fans. So we are back with an Alyssa Lonergan double take.
Another, I was going to say a double wank, but it isn't.
Another dual wank.
Another dual wank, but a dual book.
Yeah.
Another 2-book episode.
Yes.
So I feel like, obviously, we always put this in the titles. I feel like it's very obvious. But we are talking about book 4 in this series, and that has only relatively recently come out. It came out on the 30th, 31st. So we just want to preface by saying, like, if you haven't read book 4, we are talking about it today. We are going to do it in, like...
Talk about book 3, then talk about book 4.
You, in theory, if you're just on 3, you could listen and we will warn you.
Yeah.
And then you can switch off. But... yeah, I have, like, this is all I have consumed, right?
Yeah.
Normally when we do episodes, I'm reading a couple of books at a time. I'm reading a lot. I have just read these, and I text you earlier to say my brain right now cannot absorb information. So I took quite a while to read book 3. So I feel like book 3 I remember the best.
Yeah.
Book 4, I literally finished it last night or this morning. So this is going to be really good fun.
Okay. So let's start with book 3 then.
Well, we finished book 2 with
her magic manifesting.
Riven being a bit of a knob.
Yeah, Riven's not a vibe. No.
And the party happens in book 3, right?
Yes.
It feels like Riven being gone or presumed dead, which is a big plot point in book 3. For me, it felt like all of book 3, but he is in it for the first
quarter?
20-30%.
Yeah. So the Rebel Keep comes under attack.
By creatures, though.
But they assume that they've been sent by his ex.
Well, yeah, but this is what I find interesting. So, obviously it's assumed that it's sent by Riven's ex.
Yeah.
Is it assumed that she's working for the Fraud Queen?
Yeah.
And I find it really interesting that all of a sudden now, we kind of saw it in book 1 where her twin sister uses magic on Juniper anyway. But the Fraud Queen uses magic.
Yeah, she can pull dark magic, can't she?
It's just unusual that she's such a vigilante against, like, magic being used in general. And then really just uses it herself.
Yeah. She's a bit of a contradiction, though, isn't she?
Oh, yeah, I mean, yeah.
Is it Malaya? But the premise is they get attacked by creatures. They're trying to get everyone out. They go out, like, to the top of the cave system, and the cave system caves in.
Yeah.
On top of Riven.
Yes. They think Riven's dead.
Yes.
Also, Ash dies.
Oh, that's a hard death.
I really thought, like, bit of a spoiler for book 4, but I really thought that... Obviously, we knew there was no way Riven wasn't going to come back. Like, there was no way. Yeah. But I really did think that Ash would come back as well.
But her death is almost like a sacrifice, isn't it? She throws herself in front of Juniper to save the queen.
Yeah, it's really sad.
It's very, very sad.
I was really traumatized the first third into that book.
Yeah, well, so were Grove and Reaver.
Yeah, they don't do well.
And obviously, like, understandably, like, they all live together. They've almost, like, grown up together.
They're just sisters,
yeah. So, like, very understandable, but they both take it really fucking hard.
I mean, yeah, the whole... And I think from there on, their sort of, like, journey... Because they end up back at the castle.
Yeah.
Or the island.
Yeah.
And it's all just a bit rough for everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone's just having a time.
Yeah, but a bit of an easier time to get to the castle this time.
Yeah, because the magic takes them that way, isn't it? So they end up going away. The Alric and that went the original journey.
Yeah.
So obviously it's not like going through dragons and mountains and so on.
So she unlocked the level and she was allowed in this time.
Yeah, you've leveled up high enough that you can enter this section of the game. Yeah.
So, spoiler alert: book 3 is my favorite book out of the 4.
Yeah, do you know what? I don't know if book 2 is I don't know. I did really like book 3. I don't know if 2 and 3 are on a par for me.
Okay. Book 3 was my favourite because I just loved all the different magical beings that were on the island.
The vast majority of book 3 really is her, when she gets to the castle and kind of comes to terms with the fact that, like, Riven is gone.
Yeah.
That the gods start, like, speaking to her, or she thinks it's her magic, really. Yeah. And she can hear this, like, internal voice that's kind of pushing her to do things. And she has this, like, drive that she needs to go meet all the other sort of magic. Because this island is where all the remaining magical beings have been forced to, like, congregate. So she obviously goes back to meet the Witch of the Wood.
Yeah. Is it an Elle?
Yes, Elle, who's, like, the lead. So there's obviously more of them, but she's the leader. She then goes to meet dragons.
Love that.
Jesper, who is the king of the Shadow Elves.
Yeah. Shadow Daddies.
And, mermaids. That's the other one.
Caspian and Liliana.
Yeah.
Just to put, like, a snail on her lip.
Yeah, that was fucking minging. I was like...
And then they're like, oh, to do it, like, better, like, or easier, like, do this. I can't remember what it was. But
well, she doesn't use enough, do they? They're like, when they're down there, she's, like, starts to suffocate and they have to drag them back up. And Liliana's like, you need to use more than one, but she can't even get one in. They're all, like, being sick. Like, I think Alric's sick when they try and do it. It's really funny. Also, during that scene, Reaver being a fucking delight. Like, Juniper talks about how they kind of were basically wearing, like, swimming costumes. Yeah. And Juniper had, like, a swimming costume on, but it was more like a skirt, but she wore shorts underneath it, but Reaver didn't. Yeah. And how she, like, purposefully did it. And then Alric's, like, she says Alric walks off to go into the woods to have some, like, alone time. Brilliant. Absolutely fucking brilliant. Because the dance back and forth between Reaver and Alric in this is... Yeah. Although I will say, like, I don't mean it in, like, a negative way, because I love this book, but I wanted to bash Alric's head against a fucking wall in this. Yeah, same. Because he needed to, like, sort his shit out. Yeah. Now, having read book 4, I can understand why Alyssa has paced it the way she has, because, like, I do... And this, obviously, we can ask this when we come to the interview next week, but... I do feel like has she done it because she intends to have... I hope so. ...standalone stories. I do think so. Alric and Reaver have... She's given herself room for Alric and Reaver, definitely. Yeah.
To jump back to you saying that they go to meet the dragons. The dragons, like, I don't know, in my mind, live in, like, an island that floats in the sky. Okay. So to get there, they ride wind beasts.
Yeah, because Reaver finds them, doesn't she, when she's doing, like, her exploring?
Well... Yeah, she finds them because she goes to a very high point to
unalive herself,
which is really sad. And, like, obviously, like, she is really struggling. Yeah. Then I find it really funny because Reaver is the last person that I would choose, or that I would think would be the party planner, and then that's her sort of role going forward. It's a party planner, and, like, I don't know, it's just not what I put her with. Yeah. So I found that quite funny, but yeah. She finds the wind beasts. Yeah. And this isn't a spoiler for book 4, but Leo really wants to ride them. And they're like, you're too big. Like, we'll have to find a really big one for you, Leo. It's so cute that he wants to go on
was
one.
really lovely.
Yeah, it's
I
so
do remember
funny.
that was funny.
So yeah, basically she like forms alliances with like all the magical creatures on the island.
Yeah.
So like, right, okay, everyone's on board. Yeah, everyone believes that she's the queen, that, you know, that she's going to return the land to.
Well, all of them pretty much jump on board. Like the mer people are pretty, like, they're confident, they know she's the Mage Queen. The dragons are like, yeah, okay, maybe not. Like, maybe we'll see.
Yeah.
Yes, but obviously, fucking he wants to climb here like a tree, so he'll do anything. And then the
Wood
Witch is like, no.
Yeah.
Because she mentions that she had beef with the previous Mage Queen.
Because they'd taken someone from her.
And that's all that's really said.
Yeah.
So without going too much into book 4 right now, we'll pause that.
So Jesper's around a lot. He's always so popping up in the castle.
Well, and I think what's funny is, like, I wouldn't say he's the same as Alric, because it's obviously like a definition between the two of them. But he is so down hard for Juniper. But I do question, is he just down hard for everyone?
Yeah, he's like a dog on heat.
Because he says, I'm sure he says at one point, like, I don't just want to get with you because of your position. I genuinely find you really attractive.
Yeah.
But then as soon as Grove comes sniffing, he's like, bang.
Hello.
As soon as Juniper's like, it's a hard no.
Yeah.
It's always going to be a hard no. Like, even.
Although I think towards the end of book 3, you almost get like, oh, is she coming round?
Well, I think if Riven was. I don't think this is a spoiler for anyone that's just read book 3. I think you probably all know that, like, Riven probably isn't dead. I'm not going to confirm or deny that.
Well, you know it. If you've read book 3, he's at the end of book 3.
Oh, it's at the end. Yeah. I can't remember if it's the beginning. Sorry, I can't remember if it's the beginning of book 4.
No, he's at the end of book 3.
He obviously isn't dead.
Yeah.
But, like,
she doesn't know that.
I think if Riven had been dead, I think she probably would have climbed
I
Jasper
think
like
if
a
he'd
tree.
have taken another week to find the island, she'd have flopped.
Yeah, but then I think as soon as Riven showed up,
she'd be like, sorry, that was fun, but my real love's here now.
Yeah, I think. Yeah. But Jesper and Alric are quite similar.
Yeah.
And I find it really funny that Alric, like, isn't keen on Jesper and he finds him suspicious, because it's like, yeah, but that's exactly how you behave with Juniper when you first met her.
Yeah.
Like, I always think, even though I do love Reaver or the idea of Reaver and Alric together, I do think Alric always holds a candle for Juniper. I think he's always got a bit of a thing.
Yeah. But would never act on it, because, like, him and Riven, even though they're quite salty towards each other, I do think they think of each other as, like, brothers.
Oh, yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
I think once he knew Riven's feelings were serious, then he was like,
hard no. Yeah.
Yeah, but I just think it's funny that Jesper, like, riles Alric up so much.
Oh, so funny.
But obviously, as soon as Juniper says no, he just turns his attention to the next thing, which is Grove, apparently.
I fucking love the castle.
It's really funny.
It gives me huge Hogwarts vibes with, like, moving staircases, and basically, like, you just tell the castle what you need. She's like, I need to know if we've got money. Do we have somewhere that we store the money? And then, like, under the basement just opens up and they're like, here you go.
Well, it also is so funny that, like, when they first arrive, it obviously starts providing for them.
Yeah.
But then eventually it's like, now you're done.
Yeah.
No
we
more
fed
wine.
you enough.
No, the cook comes up to her like, all the wine and the food is gone, and she's like, "All right."
Because they're all just fucking having a party. They're all just getting drunk every night and just fucking gorging themselves.
And they're like, you need to go look after yourself now.
Yeah.
Go fend for yourselves. Thankfully, Jesper's like,
we've let you had a rest. You've had a little rest, and we fed you.
But you're taking the fucking piss now.
Come on, guys.
Go cook for yourselves.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's funny.
And like the gardens just like completely like dry up of all the fruit and everything. And the cook's like, what am I going to cook?
Yeah. So obviously that's another reason for alliance with Jasper, is because they obviously have a very, like...
Yeah, like, well, they know how to survive on this land, so...
Yeah, and he says that they have like a very fruitful, like... What's the word? Not ecosystem, but like... I can't think of the word. But yeah, I mean, I guess when I say that's all the book 3 is, I don't mean that in like
I know what you mean.
But that's the general premise of book 3.
So book 3, we also get Juniper like using her magic to make a community. So it's not just the castle, because obviously more and more survivors turn up and they can't fit in the castle.
Well, when Grove and Leo come back, they come back with loads of people.
Yeah. So they're like, right, I'm going to throw them in the castle now. So she starts to like, I don't want to call them mud huts, but like that's... you know, essentially made out of like her vines and stuff.
Yeah, she builds a a village, I guess.
Yeah. And it turns out to be like quite thriving. Like, people can say like, right, these are my skills, and they set up a market and they're trading. And
well, I think as well, like these people have obviously been displaced anyway. Like, they were living in caves.
Yeah,
so,
they
like,
come from the rebel keep. So
I don't know whether like mud hut is always going to be an upgrade than a cave anyway. But it's just nice that there was a significant amount of survivors.
Yeah.
That it wasn't like they're having to start from scratch again.
Like repopulate. But the ending's really, I remember being quite shocked at the ending of book 3, and I didn't have book 4 to go on to at that point. So we end with them calling Juniper to the beach and saying something's happening.
Yeah, well, the mist lifts, isn't it?
Yeah. And Riven is on the other side with what looks like an army fade to black. So what were you thinking? I know you literally picked up book 4 and went straight into it. I obviously didn't have that opportunity because book 4 wasn't out. So what were you thinking at that point?
Well, in book 3, we get, because I know I mentioned this in last week's episode, during book 2, it's briefly mentioned that we do find out that Riven was the commander of Ender's army, and they were lovers. He was in love with her. He turned to his parents were the leaders of the rebellion. He dobbed them in because he was so loved up with Ender. So I honestly did wonder as she got to him, and as he kind of like not flipped, but does she still have some kind of control over him that's making him stand against Juniper? I was worried. I did worry, like, was she even using some kind of magic?
Yeah.
Because obviously they're not above it, are they?
Oh, yeah, and they've tortured people with magic. You know, General Nova's a fucking prick with her
So that's
magic.
kind of what I was thinking, is like, this might be like a reunion, but it isn't going to be like a happy one.
I thought he double-crossed her.
Yeah.
I was like, you fucking bastard. Like, everything she's been through, that's why you were so nasty to her, because you were never on her side.
No.
Like, I really was gunning for him then. I was like, she should have gone with Jesper.
Yeah, agreed. Well, I was listening, when I was editing or re-listening to last week's episode, I think one of my predictions is I'm suspicious of everyone. Yeah. And I think someone's going to double cross her.
Yeah.
I think it's because, like, the premise of book 1 is so, like, you just can't trust anyone, that I just feel like I'm just suspicious of everyone.
I think book 1 ending with all the priestesses with their knives to people's throats, like, I just think it just sets the tone for, like, fucking trust no one and watch your back.
Yeah, 100%.
So yeah, I genuinely thought Riven's done her dirty and been a little prick.
Same.
I was fuming, and book 4 wasn't out. So I think I messaged Alyssa straight away and was like, I'm not very happy.
I need book 4, please.
And this was like 2 months ago. It was like October or November that I read it.
Not too long of a wait, but still a wait.
Yeah, obviously, like, I know, like, people have had longer waits for different things, but for me personally, I was just like, and then we go into book 4.
Yeah.
Final book.
Yeah.
What were your predictions?
Well, like you just said, I was almost convinced that Riven had flipped. What were my other predictions? I honestly did really think Ash was going to come back.
Okay, I sort of thought maybe Jesper was suspicious.
I've been suspicious of everyone.
He
was almost like too nice.
Yeah, and like too accommodating and too helpful that I was like...
And I do like, it is cute that is just the way he is.
Yeah.
But I agree. I just think, like I said, the premise of this story in Juniper's beginnings is like she can't trust anyone.
Yeah.
So I feel like I was almost over, like, because I'm just always on edge that anyone's just going to turn around and be like, surprise.
Yeah. Wear a cunt too.
That's a one for the cunt jar.
No, it's for season 2 we're doing that.
Oh, sorry. Never mind.
So book 4 starts and we realise it's not an army, it's all the survivors. So, okay, Riven's Team Juniper will allow it. But then he goes and hires the male prostitute, but he's like, I just want a bath and a bed, like, you don't have to do anything. And the guy is like, oh well, they'll come looking. So he's like, oh, bash the bed against the wall. So Riven's like cleaning up and having a bath, and the guy he's hired is just like smashing the bed against the wall, trying to make it sound realistic. That was fucking hilarious.
Yeah, that was really funny. Yeah.
are trying to get across to Juniper, basically. All Riven wants is for all these survivors to get across the water and for them to, start planning of how they're going to take down Queen Ender.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, I wonder what Juniper's been doing. I wonder, like, what plan she's got in place, like, whether she's been thinking about it. She's looking back thinking, you fucking snake, you've got an army.
Yeah.
So she lets the mist drop again. So he's like, what the fuck? I could just see you and now you've dropped the mist.
Yeah.
But he can see all the creatures with her. So he can see Jesper right by her side. He can see Alric and Reaver at her back. And he's like, oh fuck. Like, what's gone on since I've been away?
Yeah.
But then Queen Ender attacks him. So he's not left with any choice to try and find transport. He's basically fucking telling everyone, get in the water and swim.
Well, and one of the interesting things that starts happening roughly around here as well is Alric says to Juniper, your power is probably capable of way more than you think it is.
Yeah.
And she basically is able to, like, I don't know how to describe it. Like, I don't know if it's read his mind, but like she can almost like connect to Riven and see what's happening. And she sees that he's being tortured.
Yeah, so he gets captured by General Nova.
Yeah.
And she's basically like, you're going to fucking tell me everything. And he's like, joke's on you. I don't know anything. I haven't been with her. Like, she got there on her own.
Yeah.
I got, like, crushed or whatever. I got waylaid. And I don't know anything.
Yeah.
But Juniper sees that. She can see that he's in Queen Ender's dungeon.
Yeah.
She can see that he's being tortured by dark magic. And that it's fucking General Nova, who has tortured Juniper in the past. So Juniper's already got fucking beef with her.
Yeah.
Like, so Juniper ain't happy.
Well, they start torturing him though. I forgot this, that the Ender Queen or Queen Ender actually tries to seduce him. So she comes back in and she's like, oh, like, she says like, obviously she's been with someone, but she's never like had other kinds of intimacy. And she says like, I couldn't do it after you. Like, remember what we were like, and he's really trying to like.
Did you think he'd flip?
I thought that she would do something that would make it seem like that. And so when Juniper was almost like tapping in, she would think that.
Okay.
So I didn't think he'd fully flip. No, I do think he was really in love with Juniper, or is really in love with Juniper. But I did wonder, like, is she going to do something that'll like be a bit of like a miscommunication trope?
Yeah. Which I'm glad that she didn't, because as you know, I'm not a fan of a miscommunication trope.
Yeah, I don't know. I am and I'm not. Like, there's been some occasions where I kind of love the ride. I like being edged a bit like that, you know?
I'm just such an anxious girly.
Yeah.
That, like, if I know that, like, that you've misunderstood what they said and you're both arguing and you're not speaking to each other and like the relationship's ended,
but you know,
but I know where the miscommunication was. I just get really anxious, or like if somebody does something they shouldn't have, I'm waiting for the penny to drop and the other person to find out.
Like,
and
all I'm gonna say is the Bridge Kingdom series.
The Bridge Kingdom by Daniel Jensen.
It's the worst.
It gave me anxiety on top of my current anxiety.
You can't enjoy. Sorry, when I say can't, you can. But like the last third of the book, you're just
my God,
like,
literally.
And there's a shagging scene straight after, and the whole time I'm like, but I can't pay attention because I'm so nervous. Yeah, it's big squeaky bum time.
Oh my God,
the thing is, I say I don't love it, but sometimes I do.
Yeah, it can if it's done right. Then yes.
I like it for like a short amount of time. I like the bit of like ooh, but when it's like ooh, but when it's like books and books of it, then I'm like, enough, okay, enough, like let's stop. Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, that doesn't happen. I didn't think he'd flip to Ender. I feel like he was down hard for Juniper. I mean, whole of book 3, he like, because they obviously do, like, they don't bang in book 3, but they do. You know,
touching.
But it does really. I do feel like I just wanted to shake him because he's so like, oh no, and I'm like, right then.
I feel like we could jump ahead because we're not doing this in chronological order.
No.
And 2, if you're listening, it's because you read the book, so you don't care about spoilers.
You don't care about spoiler. Yeah.
When they were like washing in the lake once they're reunited, and he's touching it, and he's like, "I'm not banging you in a lake." Like after we've just come out of like a war zone, and like,
I know, and I'm like, but if now. When, Riven? I genuinely thought like, well, we're not going to get.
If now, not when.
If not now, when?
Yeah.
If not now, when, Riven? Because like we love a all the stakes are like tomorrow
like,
in the morning, everything's going to change.
Yeah.
Like let's just get it now because we might not have tomorrow. Oh God, I should write.
She's a virgin, so I also do get his point of view. Like, her first time can't be in like a muddy swamp.
I mean.
But yeah, it's just funny that she's like fucking gagged for him, but he's like, nah.
I was annoyed at him for that.
Yeah. Because it's not until they're back at the castle, right?
It's literally like 94% they bang.
Once they're back at
once everything's done and
castle,
dusted.
yeah.
Like everything's done and dusted and then they do it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Which
fucking
lovely.
finally.
Thank you, Alyssa, for giving us that. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Ivan, for railing her.
But like, I just was like, no, I just wanted him to be like, fuck it.
Yeah.
He's too much of a green flag.
Yeah. Come on, Raven.
Come on.
Although we fucking hated him at one point because he was wink wink. Because he was fucking horrible to her and like.
Oh, in book 1 and 2,
yeah, we were like, fuck you.
He was so broody. I was like, Raven.
Come on, Raven. But obviously she really comes into her magic in book 4.
That's not what I thought you were going to say.
She really comes into herself. No. She really comes into her magic in book 4.
Yeah, she's mad powerful by book 4. Yeah.
Basically all the land around Ender's castle is dead and she just brings stuff back to life. They're all fucking starving. Next minute there's all these trees with like low hanging fruits. Everyone's like, woo!
Yeah. She really takes in magic by the balls, you know?
So Jesper is the one that they decide is going to go and rescue Raven.
I was like, who thought this was a good idea?
Raven's so spiky anyway.
Yeah.
Some fucking elf shows up and he's like, fuck off.
Ooh, I think it's at the beginning of book 4. At one point, Juniper goes into the water to try and get to Raven, and then like Jasper pulls her back, and it's from Raven's POV, and he says like, "Oh, they're a bit like,
why is he touching her? Why is she letting him?"
She leans into him. So like, is Jasper blue?
Yeah. And he's got huge horns.
I know he has like dark purple eyes. Isn't he? Yeah, I remember that, but I can So then when he's like, "What's this blue fucker doing? Like, why have you come to rescue me? Are you shagging my missus?" Like, yeah.
Oh, and they walk through the sea.
Yes,
the mermaids like allow it. They make like a channel tunnel, like the Eurostar. It's like the channel tunnel, but they see all their like dead friends and family. And like it's like they're trying to call them through. So I think Reva sees her brother.
Oh, I don't remember that. Oh my god.
Grove sees her brother. One of them sees their brother, but obviously Juniper sees Ash, and Ash, and she really wants to go to her, and that's rough.
One thing that does happen, and it must be in the castle, that when they're breaking out, the tunnel out gets like blown up, so they get stuck. So then, did Jasper arrive and go to the dungeons and find the cook? And then the cook cooks for them. Do you remember that? It was a bit like, guys, like, I know the tunnel's blown up, but like,
we'll have a rest. But no, I think they do it because Raven is so weak.
Yeah, no, I get it. It was just funny.
I think there's a rebel in the castle, and they're like, "Oh, my aunt's the cook. If you want to come and have some food, I will figure this out." So yeah, they do have some food. Yeah. They have a little bit stop,
a bit of soup before they leave.
A bit stop, and then we'll carry on.
But then they do obviously get out, and they do get back.
They don't cross paths, do they? Because he gets out, and he's like, "Where's Juniper?" And they're
she's
like,
there. She's gone back
in the castle and the fight, and he's like,
goes,
He's like, what the fuck?
But she comes to the point where she realises, like, I have to go face her now. Like, everyone's rallied, everyone's on board, but I need to go face her.
Because they're pressing forward, but there's no Ender Queen, like, troops or anything. Nothing. And she's like, what the fuck is going on? Yeah. But it's because she's got them all, like, veiled behind some, like, dark magic. And then she lifts it and there's fucking, like, everything everywhere.
And they're fucked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, she just goes storming into the castle. She goes straight to the throne room.
Well, and she fucks her up. She kills her.
Eventually, with her magic though, innit? Like, but Nova turns up, doesn't she?
Yeah.
Alric basically says, like, you and Reva stay together. Don't leave each other. And then Reva's like, I'll go out in that corridor. And Juniper's like, bye.
Yeah.
And then General Nova shows up. But does she kill Queen Malaya with Shadowfang and then kills General Nova with her magic?
Yeah, I feel like that sounds...
I feel like she lops Queen Malaya's head off. I'm sure she beheads her.
Oh, nice.
I'm almost positive she beheads her.
Stunning.
Yeah.
It's not like we just read this book.
I know. Fuck. And then General Nova, she kills with like a blast of magic.
Okay. And then we finally get
The
Ryven and Juniper
reunion.
reunited.
But isn't Juniper sleeping?
No.
Oh, okay. She goes into like quite a long sleep, doesn't she? Because Leo comes to see her and they're like, oh, she's sleeping, sorry. And then he has to go back with the dragons.
Yeah, but when she sees Ryven,
okay. And that's when he wants to bang. She wants to bang him in a lake.
And then they go,
or like a swamp. And then he says no. But he touches her, but
I think he fingers her.
Yeah, but nothing more.
No.
Yeah. So the gods come to see her again.
Yeah.
And they basically say, like, you can either go back and reunite like your castle and like sort all that out, or you can try and sort the land out. And she chooses to sort the land out. But nobody's fucking welcoming. I was her, I'd be like, fuck off then, I'm going home.
When I read this, right, and I'm like, have people got a fucking problem? Because she's like on someone's house mending the fucking land, and they show up with their pitchforks and their torches, and they're like, get off.
And they basically say, if you want us to be on your side, fix the rift. Then we'll think that you're something. If you can fix the rift in the land where all the dark creatures are coming out from, then we'll talk. Until then, fuck off.
Yeah, I know.
So she literally pours
everything.
And she's like on her hands and knees, like her forehead to the floor, like fucking pulsing magic, like fuck, to try and close this rift. And then they're like, all right then.
Maybe. I know. I was
grateful
fucking
little
baffled
fucking
by that.
shits. Like,
yeah, I know. I'd be like, nah, you can all fucking do
I'm
one.
going home.
I go back to my lovely magical island. You can all fucking rot, quite frankly.
But even though they're all pricks to her, she does make like a bridge between lands.
Oh, Juniper is like, like such a better person than I would.
Oh my god, I'd be
be
so petty.
I'd be like,
you can fucking lick my feet and tell me that you're sorry, and then maybe
come kiss my boot and we'll talk. Yeah,
literally, I would be. I'd be such a prick. But yeah, she makes like a bridge, doesn't she, between the lands? She like
something like, again, this doesn't matter because we don't do it chronological, but something we haven't talked about is she sees the previous Mage Queen like spirit like tied to the castle.
But like I think by Juniper like coming into her own and becoming the Mage Queen, she sort of offs the last one.
Oh, does she? I don't think
her spirit fades away and like the tapestry disappears and everything.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So she's asking her for help, and she's like, do you find it really fucking weird that she's like opens the closet? There's all these dresses of like a dead queen in there, and she's like, I'll wear these.
Oh, she loves it.
She's playing fucking dress up in her cupboard.
She's a bad eyelid.
Yeah. Sita, we didn't know it was Sita.
Well, that's towards the end she shows up, but yeah.
Yeah, she's just fucking playing dress up in the dead queen's closet.
Yeah,
like,
she's fine with it.
Yeah, she loves it.
I'm fine with this. Yeah. But obviously that previous Mage Queen then tells Juniper that, am I right in saying that like a previous, like a god had come to their land? And that's who was like fueling all this dark magic. And by Juniper, like...
Yeah, so one of the gods was like exiled.
Yeah, that was it, exiled, yeah.
Yeah, like all the other gods like didn't agree with the way this god was behaving. So they brought the dark magic. And one thing we haven't talked about, she releases the prisoner from the dungeon.
Yeah. We find out that that's the Wood Witch's like girlfriend, partner, lover, wife.
So then when they have like the coronation ceremony... and all the creatures are like bestowing gifts on her, the Wood Witches show up and they give her the bark.
Well, the gifts they give
are wild.
But that's before they go to fight the Ender Queen. Do you know what I found really interesting is that because she gives them to everyone, doesn't she? She gives one to Alric, one
them out.
I think I can't remember if it's Reaver or Grove. She gives the dragon gift
and
to.
it goes into her forehead. That's Grove.
But doesn't it say it turns their eyes purple? Yeah. I was like, ooh.
So Reaver, she gives the thing from the sea, and it like calming, is it? Almost like to clear your head. Yeah. She gives the bark to Alric, and it sort of like makes a glove for him.
Yeah, like a protection. Yeah.
But then at the end, like once it's served its purpose, it's a ring on his finger, and then it can like turn back into the glove, which I really liked. And then the fire she gives to Grove.
Yeah. Yeah,
very interesting.
Very, very interesting.
And I think like she's seen as like worthy for sharing the gifts rather than
hoarding them all.
Yeah, like keeping them for herself. Which, you know.
When I was reading that though, I was like, I think this is going to backfire on you, Juniper.
She's just such a green flag.
Yeah, she is a really big green flag. She's very morally
correct.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good. Yeah, because
Yeah.
honestly, I would have fucking walked off by 6 times.
Same. Being like, fuck you all. I'm gonna just
honestly,
lock myself in my
As soon as somebody
castle.
pushed me down the stairs, I'd be like, I'm fucking off.
Do you know what? I don't want to be the Mage Queen.
Do you know what?
Find somebody else.
I'll fucking do it, quite frankly.
I'll just live in the Rebel Queen.
Literally.
Floating in my blue lagoon.
Yeah. And getting finger banged by Riven every now and then. Even if he's not very nice to me.
Sita can make my lingerie.
Yeah.
I'll go to the tavern.
Yeah.
I'm
Lovely.
fine with this life, thanks.
I'm fine, thanks. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, no, when they all came with their pitchforks, I'd be like, oh, fuck off. I'm
Yeah,
going to
I
lock
know.
myself in my castle
Yeah.
with all my
same.
pretty dead queen's dresses and call it a day.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, she's very good.
Yeah, no, she is. But then, obviously by releasing that prisoner, it means that the Wood Witches get on board and she does actually get backing from all the creatures.
Yeah, everyone's on her team.
And yeah, so the gods do speak to her and say, basically, that's what happened.
Yeah.
Like you said, the previous Mage Queen, she's already dead. But,
Yeah,
you know,
vanishes then. Like, your time is done.
and she gets coronated.
Yeah.
And kind of like happily ever after, really.
It is, but it's also open-ended because Reva and Alric, she basically says, like, if you want to work for me, fine, but you need a fucking holiday. Like, you need to take some time off. And Alric says, I think I need to try and look for my dad.
Because they just fucked off.
Yeah, the priests are gone.
The priest's just fucking gone. But he says, I need to go, and we're going to go get married.
Yeah.
And then Reva's like, I didn't even know we were engaged.
Yeah.
I was like,
and then Grove and Jesper are together.
I
aren't
don't
together.
know. I don't think who knows?
Yeah, I'm not really sure. So we could get like 2 novellas.
I really hope, because I would love that.
Do we ever find out about Juniper's parents?
No.
So yeah, I think there's quite a few novellas we could get, because will Reva and Alric get married and find his dad? Like, will there be a story with the priests?
Yeah.
Will Grove and Jesper give in to each other? Like, will there be something there?
Or fucking just kill each other?
Yeah. I feel like I was suspicious of Leo in this book. Because, like, he was going to go with them. He was going to be part of if the tunnels to Riven caved in, Leo was the one big enough to dig them out. Then it was like, oh, actually, Leo's going to stay with the dragons. So Leo didn't come. Then he flew over and he wanted to see her when she was sleeping. And they said no. So he flew back. I was just like, I'm suspicious of Leo. But obviously nothing came of it. But I was just really suspicious of him in this book.
I'm just suspicious of everyone.
Yeah.
Genuinely, up until the last chapter, like, Alyssa could have written, dun, this person 360s, and I would have been like, yeah, because I just didn't trust anyone.
Yeah, but what could be a really nice novella, I don't know, I'm not going to start writing Alyssa's books for
Are you
her.
giving notes to Alyssa?
Yeah, would be maybe Leo going on like a pilgrimage to try and see if there's other giants out there.
Oh,
because we don't come across giants.
Not any others, no.
But like, he is a descendant of giants.
Yes.
So like, that could be a nice little subplot.
I need the Alric and Reva story. I'm sorry, I need it. And we've not read anything else about Alyssa, but obviously she has written quite a few other books, not in this genre. I think the others are more YA
Yeah, I
and
think
sci-fi.
this is her first fantasy.
But, like, I wonder, is this gonna be like, I don't know how Alyssa writes. Like, some authors have a bit of like a pattern, don't they? So I would be curious to know, is she intending for there to be more?
Yeah.
Or is it like I've left it open-ended and it's up for you to interpret?
Yeah, and it is one of my questions for her. Obviously, we are sitting down with her. We are going to interview her next week.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is one of my questions.
Exciting.
Yeah. So that being said, we've talked about books 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Yeah.
Ratings on the series as a whole.
On the whole series,
yeah.
I think like a 4.5 star.
It's a 4.5 star series for me. Book 3 was a 5 star for me. Just because, I don't know, give me loads of magical beings and alliances, and I'm all here for that. Like, I loved her meeting all the other creatures.
Yeah, I think I did. I think my order of stars was 4, 4, 4.5, 4.
Okay,
I think that's how I did it.
I think I went 4, 4, 5, 4.
Okay.
Or 4, 4, 5, 4.
So very
and a half.
close.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely a 4.5-star series for me. Now that we've talked about it all, obviously we at this moment in time we haven't interviewed Alyssa.
Yeah.
What are you thinking question wise of like what you'd like to find out? Like,
every single question I have is about Reva and Alric. Like, I need to know more. I need to.
Are we getting a novella?
I need it.
Yeah,
and definitely then Jesper and Grove.
Yeah,
but 100%, I need to know. Like, I need it. Like, I need it.
Yeah. Anything else?
No, that's all. That's all I'm here for. I just need those answers, Alyssa.
Smut.
And not even necessarily the smut. Like,
Yeah. Just the story.
I don't know. I think like the dynamic, particularly between Alric and Reva, is just so enjoyable.
Yeah.
I love them
because obviously, like, Juniper's our green little flag. Like, Reva's not. Like, Reva's a badass.
Yeah, very different.
Alric's a bit of a rake, or like at least a rake personality.
Yeah.
So yeah, very interested to see what the dynamic between them will be like.
Yeah, 100%.
And I'm just interested to know her sort of writing process. Like, why did she decide that Juniper didn't know what she looked like? Why did we learn everything through Juniper's eyes? Yeah. Where did the magic system come from? Like, where was this story born from? Like, because it's an interesting story. It's not dissimilar to things that we've read, but it's not super similar to things that we've read either.
Yeah, I know. Like, I can't remember what you said when we did this in the author spotlight, but like, I feel like if I'd read this for the author spotlight, I would have struggled to compare it.
Yeah.
But only because it's so unique in the premise.
Yeah. I mean, like, maybe like from Blood and Ash with her.
Yeah,
like,
I did say that.
Even though like she's not veiled or anything, like she sort of is because she's like so. Yeah, exactly. In book one, she's so secluded, but yeah, very interesting and like really nice that we see her learning to fight and learning to use her magic rather than, I think we said this last week, but rather than her just being like, oh, she's super hard and badass.
It takes her a solid 3 books to start to actually fight, which is great. Like,
it's only at the end that like all her magic like comes flowing out of her, and like, you know, the stakes are high, and her magic does appear, but it's just a lot more realistic.
Yeah, agreed.
And like, we love a realistic FMC.
As realistic as you can be when they're like magical beings.
Yeah. I know. I know. No matter how hard I train, I'm not gonna have magic.
You can be out here punching a punching bag every day. You're not shooting vines out of your hands.
No.
Yeah. Agreed.
I'm not taking people down my mind, am I? So
no.
But
yeah, I feel like for me, and I think I think it'll also just be interesting to talk to somebody, because there's not many authors that we've spoken to have either written outside the genre before, so it will just be interesting to know, like,
because I'm sure Alyssa's got something like 29 books
I'm sure she's got, at the end of the books it tells you some of her work, but I don't think it's...
Is it all romance? Like contemporary romance?
No, none of them are contemporary. There's a sci-fi... I think they're all YA.
Oh, okay.
And I think one's a sci-fi and one's something else. Okay, so... Oh, okay. Urban Fantasy YA completed series. Book 1 in the Witches of Jackson Square series. High Fantasy Adventure Romance YA. Assassin's Reign Book 1 in Tales from the Mirror Realm series. Military standalone romances, Euphoria Book 1 in the Brothers Bound series, fairy tale retellings, Ashes to Ashes Book 1 in the Kingdom's Curses series, paranormal new adult romance Take Me Book 1 in the Crimson Pact trilogy. So actually, it is all, I know.
Yeah, she's got quite a diverse...
Yeah. They're all hyperlinked at the end of her... At the end of her...
I didn't realise she'd written fantasy before. I don't know why I thought this was her first fantasy book.
This is her first romantasy.
Okay.
So I don't think she's done fantasy and romance and new adult, like all of the things into one.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Anyway.
Any tepid takes?
Any tepid takes? I don't think so. I don't feel like I have any tepid takes. I mean, like, it's just, this series just ticks all the boxes.
It does.
It's a KU series, like, completed now, like, enjoyable. Like, not that there's anything wrong with books being long and books being short, but I think it's nice to have a mix. Like, because generally in fantasy, in this genre, they lean on the bigger side. These aren't like, we're not talking like a 300, they're not like a contemporary size, but they are, I feel like, on the shorter side for a fantasy romance. Enjoyable, like you said, ticks everything, like, you know, grumpy MMC, you know, magic, but also not to the point where you feel like you're getting. I didn't ever feel slogged down in this at all.
It was never overwhelming with world building, with magical systems. Like, it was like readable, so readable.
Yeah, like you just, yeah. I always feel like we seem like twats when we say this is so readable. It's like, well, of course it's fucking readable. It's a book.
Yeah, but like some, like it's not Crescent City 1 where you have to really persevere. Like, it's just every chapter is enjoyable. Nothing is like, oh, what the fuck was that in there for?
Yeah, and like not super quick to the point where you're like, whoom, but like quick enough to keep you going. Like I mean, obviously I've been reading these while writing. I have been reading these in very small increments. Normally I read in like big chunks. I can usually I probably would have done these in normal times in 2 evening sittings per book, if not longer. I could have done 2/3. Obviously I've been doing these in really small segments. I've never once felt like when I picked it back up like, oh, I don't know where I am. Like, so enjoyable, so readable. Loved every minute of it.
Yeah. So next week we have Alyssa on the podcast to talk about Vow of Lies. We won't spoil any of her other work if you're planning on reading it, because we haven't read it. But we might just ask her questions in general about writing, what she's currently writing, that sort of thing. But again, no spoilers for anything else that she's got out.
I will say one of the things we mentioned this ages ago, but the hardbacks of these,
oh my god, fucking stunning.
Yeah. We're lucky enough to own the first one, and obviously we were waiting for book 4 to come out. So once Alyssa's doing the 4th book hardback, we are getting ourselves a completed set.
Juniper's just stunning, and Juniper on these covers is
stunning.
Oh my god, literally
stunning. And not to be biased, but book 1's cover is my favourite.
Oh my god, yeah. Although I love book 4's cover as well, where she's looking up at Riven.
Yeah, but I don't know what it is about book 1.
When she's got the hood over her head, yeah.
Obsessed.
She looks like a little assassin.
Yeah, I'm just obsessed with
silver
it.
Head assassin.
Love it.
They are stunning. And then after our Alyssa interview, we're doing The Memory Puller by Chris K. Haynes.
My new fucking obsession.
Bea has made it her whole personality.
I can't. Me and Chris K. Haynes talk all the time on my Instagram. Like, I'm literally, like when you're like, you see somebody in the industry that you're like, do you want to be my like book mum? Like, do you want to be my mentor? But obviously not really.
Yeah.
Like, that's how I see Chris K. Haynes. It's not reciprocated. She doesn't know that.
Okay.
So she does know. She does know. She actually did message us the other day and she was like, I listened to the episode and thanks so much for the mention. And we mentioned it like halfway through. So she obviously was like proper listening.
Aww.
I think it was on one of our other series and she DM'd us like, oh, thanks for the shout out.
Oh, that's really sweet. I can't remember.
But when I say the Memory Puller is my entire personality, like I fucking mean it. This series is my entire personality.
Well, I'm 40-something% into book 1. I'm thoroughly enjoying it. Yeah.
So good.
That's all I'll say on that. So yeah, and we've got Chris coming on the podcast, and Chris is our finale. She's the end of season 1. Yeah. Our interview with Chris marked the end of a whole year of a Podesmut and Wingspan.
Would you imagine if you'd have said your final episode would be like, what number author interviews are? Like
7?
Yeah, 7 or 8, I'd say. Wild.
Mental.
I'm at, like, if you'd have told me, I'm gonna start crying if I talk about it.
Yeah, let's not.
Let's save it because I will cry.
Yeah. And then, we're having a little break and we're back.
Is it a 2-week episode break? Like 2 Wednesdays off?
I think so. I can't remember.
Me either.
But then we're back with the Tog reread.
And then we'll be fucking crying for 8 weeks solid.
Yeah.
We're going to start with Assassin's Blade.
Yes, we are starting with Assassin's Blade because that's how you're supposed to read it.
Yeah, fuck anyone that tells you otherwise.
Obviously, it's quite a short book, so it won't be a short episode because it's our first episode of season 2 and I've got some plans.
Oh god.
So
I'm nervous.
Ha ha ha.
And we don't know the finite details of this yet, but we don't know the finite details of this yet, but we are going to have Bookish Realms podcast be involved in our Tog reread.
Yes, so if you haven't checked them out already, but you are a huge Tog fan, then they are a Tog specific podcast, Bookish Realms podcast.
They did a little like Onyx Storm.
Yeah, but they are like the majority is Tog. And if you follow them on Instagram, they sort of like do like trivia questions for each book.
Oh my God.
They're the hardest trivia questions I've ever read in all my life. And I've read these books and they make me feel like I've never like heard of these characters or read these names.
One earlier,
and I
so
went,
I was like,
who's that?
They like when we were joking earlier, me and Sam were talking about it because there was like some similarities and we were like, oh my God, they're like us but like American, but absolutely not, because they have this shit together.
The things they pick up on, I'm like,
so detailed. They like, and I listen to them all the time. They do like a couple of chapters per episode, but when they start an episode, they're like, hey assassins, and it just sounds amazing because they have like these amazing American accents. We would sound like fucking dickheads if we did that.
Hello assassins.
Hey assassins. Like,
we're back.
Yeah, and like, no. Anyway, but anyway, they're gonna get involved. We're trying to get involved in every episode of our Tog read through.
Yeah,
because like they are the experts on Tog.
They are.
And after that, we've got nothing set in stone. We're definitely gonna be doing Onyx Storm.
Yeah,
we're gonna get it to you. Probably the third book in Memory Puller at some point.
Yes. We're doing the next Trial of Fate. Yeah. And Jay Larson.
We're gonna do proper episodes on Trial of Fate and Trial of the Heart.
Yes. And Jay Larson's gonna come on. We're hoping We've had discussions, but it's on hold because the next and final book was delayed. But we're hoping to have Harper L. Woods
and do What Lies Beyond the Veil.
Yeah,
because we fucking love that series.
Yes, but book 4 got delayed, so Harper coming on the podcast got delayed. Do
you want to know? This is like way going off on a tangent, but you know, because of when season 2 will start and finish.
Yeah.
We'll probably be doing Burn during season 2.
Oh my God.
And we'll probably be doing Metal Slinger 2.
Oh my, and Brimstone.
And Brimstone.
Wow.
Anything else? We really want to get Carissa, but she keeps ghosting us.
Carissa Broadbent, if you're listening, can you answer our emails and our DMs?
Please.
Because we just want a fangirl over Max.
We want to because I think we are going to, regardless if Krista comes on, I think Daughter in a World is definitely.
But I'm going to have to reread it, I think.
Oh yeah, me too. There's so much.
Especially with
Aofi.
Yeah,
Aoife, I think you say it. What was the one we just bought? Broken Bonds or Beast of the Briar?
Oh yeah.
We just bought that. Beast of the Briar, is that what it's called?
Like
no.
Bonded by Thorns.
Bonded by Thorns, that one.
Bonded by something.
There was other things that we said, like,
we'll have a business meeting. We haven't had a business meeting.
Oh, I'm just trying to think of things that we've started and we haven't finished. The Fatington Blood, the second one.
Yeah.
That comes out soon.
Yeah.
Amber V. Nicole Gods and Monsters 4 comes out in August.
Yes. And potentially the next from Blood and Ash.
Oh, yeah. I think even though we've not done the others, I feel like maybe we could just do...
I'll be reading it this year.
Oh, yeah. You best you fucking believe I'll be reading that. So many of the books we love come out on my birthday this year. I don't know why. Amber V. Nicole was like, I know it's Bee's birthday, I'll release it on Bee's birthday. Kate Golden was like, I know it's Bee's birthday, I'll release. Oh, Half City.
Half City.
Are we gonna do a contemporary? Honestly, I might make you. I might just make it's a hosier contemporary.
You don't have to make me. I read contemporary.
Yeah, you do. That comes out on my birthday as well.
I just did the Pumpkin Spice Cafe books, didn't I? All three of them.
You did.
Loved them.
Have you seen there's been a loads of thing on the internet where like British mums buying them in Tesco's because they just sound cute and actually they're full of sex. Yeah. But people don't know and they're like, there should be like a trigger warning on it.
Well, we say this and like, not to start a hot fucking debate, but you can't pick up films with adult content without showing ID. So why should you be allowed to just buy books off the shelves? Like, why should a 12-year-old be able to go in and pick up ACOTAR?
Do you know what it is for me? That's the thing. I don't even know if you necessarily need to show ID, right? But I just think there should be some... When you're like bookshops, I think is different.
Yeah.
But like supermarkets here in the UK, I suppose it's like in the US though, Target is way more stocked than us.
Yeah.
But like on Tesco's club card, right, Bride, if I'd have been in my Twilight era, if Bride had come out and I'd have seen that, I would have bought the fuck out of it. My mum or gran would not have batted an eyelid about me. They would have been like, yeah, fucking have it. And it's about notting.
Well, remember you were picking it up in Tesco's and there was an old lady.
She asked me, she was like, oh, oh, I don't mind a bit of vampire. And I was like, I don't know. And I obviously knew that it was about the Omega. I was like, oh no, it's really, she's like, oh, you just never know nowadays. I kind of like have to, anyway, this is a whole thing.
Yeah, I know. This is why I was like, I know I'm going to get into debate, but I do think there should be something to say.
Just a sticker.
Yeah.
Like, even if it's like a discreet sticker, like, oh, if you see you know it's got 18 plus content in it.
Yeah.
And I know there's like the trigger warnings page. I understand that. But
if a mum and her young daughter are shopping, her young daughter sees the ACTA box set. Oh, that's very pretty and colourful.
Everyone's reading it, Mum.
Can I have that? Mum's never heard of it. Mum goes, yeah, whatever. And it's full of fucking railing.
When 50 Shades of Grey came out, my gran did that. She bought the whole series in W.H. Smith and started reading it and read like half of the first book. And then I came in, she was like white as a ghost. She's like, I put it in the bin.
The books, I still to this day think the books are fucking fantastic. That's the first smut I'd ever read in a book.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know, maybe like 15, 16. And I was reading them and I was like, this is fucking fantastic. Like, this is brilliant. I didn't know what a flogger was or, you know, any of the apparatus that they use. Like, he has like a sex swing. And I was like, well, I don't know how that works.
Wow.
Like, you know, it was completely new to me. But 50 Shades of Grey is the first smut I ever read. And like, I've always chased smut after that. Like, I've always like looked for books with smut in them. Like, as much as I read like or read like contemporary romances and like but I was always like, if there's gonna be some sex in a book, I'll have it.
That you had a taste and then that was it.
Yeah. We've gone on a massive tangent now about books needing age restriction warnings. So sorry about that. So hopefully you've enjoyed our double whammy Alyssa Lonergan 4 books in 2. Smash that, haven't we?
Smash that out. See you fucking never season 1. Well, a little bit more, but nearly.
It's not over. Don't listen to me.
Yeah, we are done. I'm gonna pee my pants.
I'll leave that in.
Thank you.
Okay, bye. Thanks so much for listening.
Follow us on TikTok and Instagram @a pod of Smut and Wingspan.
See you next week.
Bye.